think we were in the house, and I think I had got a phone call, something like this. I think, I missed a call. I mean, for people that don't know, back in the day, you actually had to be home to get a phone call. There weren't cell phones before pagers. And, once you got pagers, you kind of had a way to work with it. But before pagers and before call waiting and extra lines, you just had a phone. You kind of had to be around for it and hope somebody took a good message and then told you about the message. Excuse me. But at any rate, I remember she told me, I think a chick called me one time or whatever, and I missed a call. And I came in there. She's like, I think I came in the room. She's like, TT, such and such called you. And I was like, oh, dang, I missed a call. Like, what's she doing calling you anyway? Boy, you always get the number. Don't give her your number. You always get the number. And I didn't really actually put it. She really was on me. How'd she say it? I said, well, what are you doing? You always get the number. You don't give her your number. You're supposed to get the number. And I remember she told me that, from that point forward, I kind of went that route about it, but I never really thought about it. Because if you give her the number, you waiting on her to call you and whatnot. It's not going to be on your terms. And, plus, she told me if a chick is really into you, she's going to give you her number. She's going to give it to you, unless she's, at the house and has some type of restriction. So, she told me to, get the number, get the number yourself. But the other statement she told me a little bit later in life that I need to learn how to cook. Because if not, you'll get with a chick that can cook for you and you won't be able to get rid of her. And or she'll feel like she has a right to hang around. Is really the way she put it. She'll feel like she has a right to hang around. So you need to know how to cook. And I took both of those to heart. Both of those helped me a lot, man. I do love to cook, and I really do got to watch my damn mouth sometime. I really don't need to say everything that's on my mind, the way my brain works. So I definitely appreciate them for that. And hell, okay, let me, just to say something, don't necessarily got to be that deep. What did, I had not even a friend of mine, actually, a childhood friend. A childhood friend told me this. And some of y'all might not agree with this, but it helped me out the way he said it. It really helped me out. And for the most part, I found this to be true almost exclusively, but there are exceptions, but for the way I'm built, this almost works. I remember he told me, now this was young, how you young, you do the boyfriend-girlfriend thing. And this is a friend that went on later on in life, not to, we didn't stay cool, he kind of went his route, I went mine. Put it like this, if you saw him now, you wouldn't necessarily think this person can get advice from. And that's another thing, is you never really know who can give you good advice. But the cat told me, if somebody do you wrong once, they'll do it again. And we're referring to like females, and whatnot. And really, I know some of you thinking, but sometimes things can work out and whatnot. But what he was telling me was, you really got to be cautious about that, especially back then, what we're dealing with, little silly kid stuff. You know what I'm saying? He told me that then, it really isn't, when you're dealing with something that young, man, this little stuff, it ain't that deep. You know what I'm saying? If somebody do something like that, just keep it pushing, really is what he's telling me. And as a child, when you're just dating and learning how to date and deal with people, that's probably good advice. I don't know if it's necessarily healthy to be that kid who had the same girlfriend ever since middle school and stuff. It's cool. It's a nice story, but, just like anything, I think you need to, shop around a little bit. Oh, wait a minute. We got Miss Spicy Conversations up in here. You know what? I do believe Spicy might be with the, I'm not sure. Not tonight, I don't think. I ain't sure. What's going on, Spicy? Thanks for jumping in here. Miss Spicy Conversations. Spicy came in and says, I love you, Ninja. Thanks, Spicy. I appreciate it. Love your show, too. I always try to come in there and act up in our chat room. Spicy has some crazy topics. I still can't get over Mexican pancake. I can't get over the Mexican pancake. And the steamer. The steamer and the pancake. Yeah, I ain't going to go down that road, but good Lord. That's wild. That's wild right there. To this point right here, I'm still tripping on that one. I had never heard like 3 or 4 of those. Okay, from Grego. Oh, no, it's filtered. If you could only hear what comes up first. Grego, you know what? Keep filtering. From Thorny Switch. Same grandfather. Okay, that's when she every closed eye ain't sleep. Okay, the definition is always watch your back. Somebody's always watching. Yeah, okay. I just about had it. But yeah, that makes sense. See, this is all solid advice, and that's what I mean. That's what I mean by solid advice. And old heads will give you some solid advice too. And if you listen, man, old heads are hysterical. They got wisdom. They'll give you good advice, and they're funny because they'll put the advice in a way that's going to tickle you to death too. That's the other thing about old heads. Sluggo says Thorny grew up with wise folks. Salute. Yeah, I agree. Anytime you get that advice in that form, you're working with something. And this is the Underground Railroad Show with that ninja on Spreaker.com. We're coming up towards the end of the program. I think I'm going to get ready to shut this thing down by the time we run through this topic anyway. From a Thorny Switch, my grandmother, make sure you marry a man who loves you more than you love him. You'll make better decisions. Huh. That's interesting. And I guess that works in either regard. But I feel what you're saying. And you know what? And that might be a factor in, and don't take this the wrong way, but people are emotional because how can I say this? I think technically speaking, a woman is a little more emotional, and if you're leading with your emotions, it'll lead you to make bad decisions. But that can go either way. But yeah, I feel you on that. One. Okay, solid advice from grandma, and that sounds like some old head advice. Okay, that's kind of personal conversation. I ain't gonna keep that pushing. I ain't gonna disclose that. Oh yeah, Sluggo saying he bet there's nothing like wisdom. Thorny was saying, thanks Sluggo, I miss my grandparents so much. Yeah, your grandparents will tell you a few things. My grandparents were pretty old when I was a kid, so I didn't get a lot. I could have hung out with them more, but I was pretty, 11, 12, 11, 10, 9. I was a 9 or 10 when my grandma passed, and then 11 when granddad passed. He passed a year later. So we kind of hung around, though. To be honest, they were a little bit older. Their conversation was, shut up, be quiet, quit being so loud. Other than that, they being cool with you. Because, your grandparents, the grandkids, you golden. Grandkids are golden, especially when you're little. You can get away with a whole bunch. Oh, wait a minute. We got my man Christopher Tracy from Team Broadcasting up in the chat. What's going on, Team Broadcasting? Thanks for jumping in, sir. Definitely glad you jumped in, man. I appreciate you. From Spicy Conversations. Ninja, glad to know you enjoyed that show. Many more of those to come. Hashtag choo choo. You funny. Yeah, that show was, that was something else. From 334 Bama Boy. Walk with your head held high. Act like you have something even if you don't. If you only have one brown penny in your pocket, no one will ever know unless you tell them. I hear you, 334 Bama Boy. I hear you. And I feel you on that, and I think if I had to guesstimate, always carry yourself with pride. Always dress and conduct yourself with pride and in a manner that reflects what you want to be. Because that's the treatment you'll receive. So you have to behave in a certain way to receive that treatment. Because if you're looking bummed out and mean and distressed, that's the vibe people are going to get from you, and that's how you're going to be treated. So no doubt, that's solid, man. That's solid. Tony said that's it. Okay, that must have been on one of my analyzations of her sayings. Yeah, I get those. I got a whole bunch of those. Hold on, from Spicy Conversations. My grandma said, don't give a ninja water. Hilarious granny quotes. Wait a minute, let me read that again. Spicy Conversation says, my grandmama said, don't give a ninja water. Hashtag hilarious granny quotes. I'm telling you, old heads will let me give a little old heads will give you something. If you're around some old folks, man, they will tell you some stuff. My grandfather grew up in a different time, man. My great grandfather was actually a colonizer. I didn't even know this till I was like a teenager. I was almost 20 years old. My great grandfather was actually a colonizer, so my grandfather's father was white. But I still remember to this day, man, we was off in there playing. I'm little or whatever. It had to be when I'm 8, 9, 10, something like that. We sitting around playing, doing whatever. Granddad looked at me and said, hey. So yes, sir, he said, don't bring no more piano keys in the family. I just looked at him and said, yes, sir. And I just kept on playing. I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. But I still remember he told me that to this day. But we talking about early 80s. And then he came from where he came from. But yeah, I remember he told me that as well. All right, man, this has been the Underground Railroad Show with that ninja on Spreaker.com. I appreciate everybody coming aboard the train today. Today we went over the NFL, the NBA in Game 7, the NFL and, the agenda, the stories they try to push, how I think that they're flawed, and I tried to give a spin on how I think the story could have been written a little bit better. We also have been talking about advice you might have got from a loved one, a parent, a friend. I really went fathers initially, then I said father figure, but you get a lot of great quotes from your grandma, your mother. Sometimes just a friend or a partner might have told you something that was really helpful. So you never know where you might get it from. Excuse me. From Spicy Conversations. My great, great, great. What? Oh, damn. Hold on. From Spicy Conversations. My great, 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 great uncle was Abraham Lincoln. He has a lot of quotes. Shit. Oh, Lord, that's funny. Thorny Switch said he was so serious, Spicy. Y'all are silly. Sluggo says, what about the granny quotes about older women giving you worms? Yeah. You know what, man? Hey, peep this out, man. QT says, no old men give you worms. What in the world? Look here. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and say this. My mother-in-law, and we was, you know what? No, I ain't going to do that. I will tell the story about this other woman, though. I know a woman that told a story that, you know what? I can say that. Can I get away with that? No, I ain't going to tell that one. I heard a story. This older woman told her, I think it was her little brother, or maybe it was her nephew or something. She told him that if he dated a Caucasian woman, that she would give him worms. She told him that like when he was young. Because he was older and he was telling us about the story, man, I almost fell the hell out. She told that joker that if he messed with a white girl, that she would give him worms. She told him that when he was a kid. I still remember that. I was like, damn, that's freaking hysterical. Oh, they got to talking about worms in here, too. I don't know how this came up. Oh, they was talking about old people give you worms. Because Sluggo was talking about the old woman thing, give you worms. That's what they do to keep them old women off of you. Then QT was saying no old men give you worms. I don't know how that works. I wouldn't know nothing about that. People in here laughing and agreeing. Old people give you worms. I tell people all the time. Hold on. Thorny Switch says exactly QT. Old men and those worms. What in the world? Get out of here. Spicy says Ninja must have got worms before. No, I've never had worms. How do you cure the worms? That's a good question. I don't really know, but I imagine it's not a pretty process. I imagine that is not a pretty process. Lord have mercy. Spicy said I'm going to have to call my great, 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 great aunt about the worms. You know what? Old people got some remedies, too. Man, you know what? I ain't going to tell that. Maybe for another show. Maybe we talk home remedies, man. I might unleash some information one day. QT know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to do that at the end of the show. I'm not going to do that. That's wasted info. But we might do home remedies one day. I don't know who grew up with home remedies. But I mean, and it was so normal to me that I didn't even think anything of it till I got older and thought about it. And I said, you know what? That wasn't normal. But yeah, we might do a home remedy show one day. From Thorny Switch, my bro and I were told, don't bring Mr. and Mrs. Lynch. Yeah. Okay, it wasn't just me. I'm telling you, man, I don't know if this bothers anybody. Well, I mean, you'll be okay. Listen to me, man. This is stuff you got from your grandparents. You got to think about what the hell they grew up in, man. My pop went through desegregation. So imagine the grandparents. So, I mean, you got that information, man. My grandpop told me, don't bring no more piano keys home. Don't bring no more piano keys home. That's what he told me. And his pop was white. Excuse me. But Thorny Switch says, my bro and I were told, don't bring Mr. and Mrs. Lynch to her doorstep. Mr. and Mrs. Lynch. Oh, damn. Mr. and Mrs. Lynch, hell no. From 334 Bama Boy, if she can't use your comb, don't bring her home. That's a common one right there. But yeah, that's another way to say it. Yeah, that's another way to say it. From Spicy Conversations, QT said ham, meaning hot ass mess. Speaking about our conversation, Spicy Conversation says, she said if you want to get rid of a style, she got a cure. But worms, you are on your own. Spicy coming in here late trolling. Appreciate it, Spicy. Appreciate it. Y'all are nuts, man. I'm gonna get through the rest of these advice clips we got from our old heads and friends in our lives, and then we're gonna get ready to close this thing out, man. Y'all are nuts.